Hi everyone. Welcome to today's presentation on one of the most exciting transformations of our time, electric vehicles. This journey is not just about numbers, graphs, and strategies. It is about vision, impact, and the road ahead. We are exploring a sector that is not only revolutionizing mobility, but also reshaping our environmental priorities and redefining economic frameworks across the globe. Three powerhouses, United States, China, and India, are emerging as fierce competitors in the race towards electrification of mobility. And today it's worth asking, where does India stand? And what are we doing right? And what we must do to catch up in this sector? Before going further, I would request the viewers to kindly peruse the disclaimer very, very carefully. The views expressed are purely for my own education and learning purposes, and any investment made by the viewer without consulting an expert on the subject or financial expert will be at his own risk and cost. I, Prem Prakash Akhori, will not be responsible for any loss suffered on account of investment made based on this presentation. Let's move forward. Recently, US has reversed subsidy on EV vehicle. More than a fiscal tightening, it's a geo-economic maneuver that has opened new possibilities for India to become a global EV value chain integrator. China continues to push its EV diplomacy harder. The race is now on developing cost competitiveness, scalable and secure EV system, and capitalizing on the polarized world economy. India, on the other hand, has been leveraging on the PLI, production linked incentive scheme, and also it is into advanced chemistry, cells and EV manufacturing in a big way, combined with FAME subsidies for the consumer, aim to give an appropriate push to this sector. Well, if you see the EV market in these three countries, it is interesting to note that after US removal of subsidy on EV vehicles, the target for the year 26 has gradually been increased to 2.2 to 2.5 million units from 1.9 to 2 million units. Now they might slowly increase the production target from 13 to 15% in 2026, but that depends upon consumer adaptation, charging facility, and supply constraints. Obviously, the policy will drive the whole initiative so far as market expansion is concerned. So far as China goes, I think they have around 14 million units in FY25, and they are likely to increase to 15 to 17 million units in FY26. In India, on the other hand, because of the FAME subsidy as well as the PLI initiative taken, we currently have 2 million total EV sales across all categories, four-wheelers, three-wheelers, and two-wheelers. And we are targeting around 2.6 to 3 million. Obviously, we are slightly behind, substantially behind, I would say, compared to these two countries. But looking at the immense market that India has, and to kind of overcome the dependence on oil import, I think the thrust of the government on EV technology and driving the EV market is substantially high. Already mentioned, US has recently announced a rollback or tightening of EV subsidy, which has affected the EV manufacturing capacity over there, particularly for EV cars and battery components which are imported from supply chains across the border of United States. The revised eligibility for EV tax credit, especially restrictions on vehicle using battery components sourced from foreign entities of concern like China, has excluded many automobiles from receiving subsidies, effectively raising consumer price and potentially slowing EV adoption in US in the near future. Tesla, Ford, and GM are scrambling to local supply chains, while foreign automakers like Hyundai and Volkswagen face immediate disadvantage due to limited US battery manufacturing presence in China, on the other hand, controls around 70% of global EV battery production and raw material. Companies like BYD, CATL, and NIO dominate global market not just in volume but in cost efficiency and battery innovation. China's response has been to double down on subsidies for domestic EV and R&D in an aggressive way. Further, Chinese automakers are establishing manufacturing plants abroad, particularly as ASEAN and the Eastern Europe and Africa also. As the US walls of Chinese EVs, China's BRI, the Belt and Road Initiative, now includes green transport diplomacy, making it known to the world. Where is India positioned in this game? India sees this global shift as a chance to rise as a trusted EV and battery ecosystem player with strategic alignment to both Western and Asian supply chains. The Indian government, through PLI and FAME initiative, as already mentioned, has given the appropriate thrust, and companies like Ola, Tata Motors, and Mahindra are investing heavily on gigafactories, software-defined vehicle, and charging infrastructure. This is not a stock recommendation, just a mention for education purpose. Recent IPOs and government contracts reflect growing investor confidence. And if you look at the dependency of Indian EV segment, component-wise, you'll see that battery 85% is imported from China. Rare earth magnet, again, largely from China. And recently we faced a very precarious situation till the BRICS summit was held, where China opened up a supply of rare earth magnet. Power electronics, again, Chinese. And in batteries and EV components, we have seen that the local initiative has been initiated, and it is growing in a very appropriate way. What is the market and technology outlook in the medium and long term? There's been one thing is being witnessed is global market realignment. The removal of US subsidies has obviously created a supply chain bottleneck, but companies and countries are diversifying into geographies, including India, Vietnam, and Mexico. Technology push: nations are racing to develop solid state batteries, cheaper LFP, advanced driver assistance system, etc. But investors should beware. Investors should rejoice, but at the same time be very careful. While the US move could slow EV penetration temporarily, it will likely reward localized and vertically integrated entities. And therefore, Indian small cap and mid cap companies in battery components, copper foil, semiconductor, and EV ancillaries may become long term multi baggers. But one has to take it by the pinch of salt. If you have found this video interesting and useful, do like my channel and comment on whatever you feel like, and also subscribe to my channel. The details are there in the video itself. YouTube channel being @Khayal Mere Apne, and Instagram @AKH2109. Thank you very much.